right, I think we're ready.
Yeah, so like I was saying, you know, this is my friend here. He has my back all the time, and if you look at him, you know, he could be thinking a lot of thoughts. One of the thoughts he will be thinking is, really? We're here this morning to listen to a presentation? So, and that's why I bring him to kind of to break the ice, and he'll be watching you guys as you do the presentation. But let me begin by introducing myself. My name is Marquette Stevenson. I'm a veteran. I'm the founder and the executive director of Montrel Living. Montrel Living is a non-profit organization which provides transitional housing for veterans that are mentally ill and homeless. Let's start with the current situation. Some of you either have a family member that's been a veteran, or a friend, or someone that's dealt with mental illness or is homeless. So what I want to do is tell you a little bit about Montrel Living. I'm going to tell you about the past, the present, and the vision that we have for our organization. The current situation of far as veterans is there's 22 million veterans in this country. That's 22 million veterans. Between 130 to 200,000 at any given night are homeless. 33% of the male homeless population are veterans. 89% receive honorable discharge papers. 76% experience alcohol, drug, and mental health problems. And 93% of the homeless veterans are male. So as you can see, there is a real problem. There's a real issue about veterans. One of the things that that the society have accepted is that what they don't want to do today with the veterans that they did in years past is to give them more respect and do more for them. Not like when they came out of the Vietnam War when they still couldn't get jobs or there was no help. The society has changed a lot, and you have a lot of organizations that out here that really want to do more for veterans. This is a snapshot of just North Texas. North Texas. On any given night, there's about 2,600 homeless vets. That's 7.5% decrease from 2011. The VA homeless male, our percentage is 95%. Females is 5%. That's up by 2%. The average age of the homeless vet is 51 years old. That's in the North Texas area. And the national average of males is 93%, and for females is 7%. The VA percentage of homeless vets based on the wartime era. And as you can see, the latter wars, like World War II, there were hardly any homeless veterans, 0.2%. A Korean War is 0.6%. When you get to the Vietnam War, it's 13.5, and then you deal with the Persian Gulf War, 8.5, Operation Enduring Freedom, 3.7, which is up from 0.8. That's a lot.
This is the percentage when they came back from war. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And Operation Iraq of Freedom is 7.7, which is up from 2.8%. Homeless veterans with history of combat service time is 15.6%. These are veterans that were actually in combat. It was 15.6%. And this is just in the North Texas area, just to give you a perspective. Veteran unemployment. In 2010, the veterans had an unemployment rate of 21.9, which is twice the national unemployment average. And that was in 2010. The numbers are a little bit better, but not that much. 200,000 more veterans in the labor force than a year before. That numbers have increased. It's more close to 200. It's more closer to about 200. It's more close to about 500,000. Well, not 500, about 300,000 people now, because of the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War and all the people, the veterans that are coming back. Many veterans do not have the skills they were promised to enter in the civilian market. Basically, what this means is, when you're in the military, there are certain jobs that won't translate into a civilian workplace. So when they get out of the military, they have to be retrained for the jobs that are at hand. And some of those skills that they have in the military doesn't. So That's one of the reasons that unemployment rate is so high, because not only the veterans, they have to, when they get out of the military and look for jobs, but then they have to be retrained. But they also are competing with people that are coming out of high school, you guys that are coming out of college, looking for jobs. And then you have an older population that wanted to retire, but they can't retire, and they're also looking for jobs. So, you know, they're getting kind of a double whammy, triple whammy about this here, as far as the veterans is concerned. So, you know, that's a bigger challenge, but as I go through this presentation, there's help on the way. The VA resources available. There's a lot of resources out there for veterans. The Veterans Administration do a very good job of providing different programs for veterans that are homeless and mentally ill. One of the programs is a grant per diem program. It says only 8,000 beds or 4% needed. A grant per diem program is, just to give you an example, you guys heard about Salvation Army? Okay, Salvation Army is downtown, but they have a facility that they have, I'm going to just say, about roughly 100 beds. And so what this grant per diem program means is that the Veterans Administration went to Salvation Army in a collaboration and said, listen, can you guarantee us, out of your 100 beds, can you guarantee us 40 beds? Set them aside just for veterans. So if a veteran walks into Salvation Army and knock on the door and they're homeless, they can immediately go into Salvation Army, don't have to pay a fee. They can stay there for 30 days. While they're there, they're being fed, and they're also getting benefits as far as helping them for shelter, jobs, and all their needs that while they're there. So that's what that per diem program is. The VA pays Salvation Army amount per bed for veterans to come in there to stay. Domiciliary care for the homeless veterans program, that's like assisted living. When some of the veterans come back, not only are they dealing with mental issues, they're dealing with physical issues. And their family members can't take care of them. So this is a homeless veteran program that they're allowed to go there. They're allowed to get care, like on one-on-one nurses aid, to get them back to a normal place. And that's a very big challenge, because it meets approximately only 3% of the need, which the need is much greater, because I'm quite sure you guys seen some things on the TV or on the internet where, you know, you see a lot of the veterans that are coming back that are really mental challenge and also a physical challenge. So that's what that was all about. That's what that's all about. Safe Housing offers supportive housing and service centers for homeless vets. Safe Housing is supportive housing and permanent housing is basically the same. And basically, just to give you an example, what that's like is, you know, if someone owns, if the VA owns an apartment complex, and within that complex they have service centers, which mean that they either have a clinic or they have caseworkers that's right there on premises where the veterans don't have to go outside. They can get service right there. They'll have someone, a caseworker will assist them with their financials in the shelter, in the benefits, and they'll help them because they have to pay. They have to go through a process of finding out, based on their income and based on the benefits they get from the VA, how much they will have to pay to be in their apartment. But that's why you have case managers, you have the medical team there, like a clinic, medical support, maybe eye examination, to help them go through that process. So that's what that Safe Housing is about. Now, although the VA is trying to meet the needs of the veteran, the funding is insignificant. And this is a big challenge. And I really have a pet peeve about it. Personally, I have a pet peeve as a veteran myself. But here's the thing that you guys need to know. If you put a microphone or you put someone on camera, especially a senator or a congressman, they all say the same thing about veterans. We for them, you know, yeah, rah, rah, we'll help them. But excuse my French, that's bullshit, okay? A lot of them do that for the cameras, but after the cameras and the doors are closed, they don't vote on the bills that really, that the VA need to help these guys that have the mental issues and the homeless issue. And that's where we need to be more vocal about that. When I speak to other organizations, and I've called a couple of people out on this, because it's really not fair that you get in front of people to tell them that you support vets and behind closed doors you say in a different song. It's very hypocritical. And that's the problem. That is the problem with America. America does say that some of the people, like politicians and some others, will say some of the nicest things about veterans, but really behind closed doors they don't do anything. Because you know why? Because that's why you're seeing this funding is insufficient. Because they have the power to vote. They have the power to vote and to get money and funds for the veterans. But every time if you hear when they're talking about budget cuts, you know one of the first things they cut is the military. It's the military spending. So keep that in mind. The future needs. More veterans are coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan with mental health and homeless issues than any other period in time. And that's a big challenge. The economy is in distress condition, causing more unemployment among veterans, and that's what I was alluding to earlier, because not only you have the challenge of them getting out of the wars and going into the civilian life, but because the jobs that they were doing in the military doesn't translate into the civilian life, so they have to get retrained. Employees are worried of mental health issues among returning vets. This is also a challenge as well, because a lot of employees, you know, they want to help and they mean well, but there is a mental health issue that need to be concerned. Mental health issues, you're talking about PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar, schizophrenia, and manic depression. Again, you know, a personal story, I grew up with two brothers, they're older than I am, that were diagnosed with bipolar, schizophrenia, and manic depression. I grew up with them all my life. So I know what mental health is. And because I'm a veteran, that's why one of the reasons why I formed this organization. But I know what that is, and you have to have a temperament to deal with clients. And you know, there is a worry about mental health issues, but because everybody that takes medication, everyone that takes medication, always feel that they don't have to take medication. And just to give you a side note about what happens is one of my brothers, that he's schizophrenic and bipolar. And he's in Delaware, but anyway, I got a call probably about a year ago. He had got on a bus, and we had no family in Florida. He got on a bus and went all the way down to Florida. We didn't know where he was at. We thought he was dead. You know, we didn't know anything about him for about 6 months. And this is what his medication would do. He got off his medication thinking that he's okay, and before you know it, he was gone. I got a call from one of the institutions that, hey, listen, for some reason he had my number. He called me, they called me and said, listen, we have your brother, what is your name, da-da-da, go through the process. So yeah, we have your brother. But once I got down there and picked him up, they told me that he had lost 25% of himself. In other words, 25% of himself that he'll never get back. Because whatever he went through off the medications, you know, for 3 months he was in a facility, but the other 3 months nobody knew where he was at. And basically what that happens is people with mental issues and homeless, you know, they're on the street. And they just told me, they said 25% he'll never get back. You know, and that's why I'm really, as far as the mental health issues, I can understand employees have a concern about that, but I think we all need to do our part. You know, when you see someone that is mentally challenged, a lot of people make fun of them, but you know, look at their families, because the families go through it just as well as they do. I mean, they mean well. My brother means well. I mean, I grew up with this guy who could play basketball, baseball. I mean, you know, he could beat me at everything, but I thought I could beat him because I was a younger brother, always challenged. But the thing of it is that, you know, it happens, and we need to be aware of that, and we need to, you know, do what we can, because that is a real issue, the mental health issue. So, but that's a side note. I didn't want to go there, but sometimes I always get off script. The public is trying to step up to our responsibilities to veterans, in which they are. There's a lot of organizations that really have stepped up. I'll give you a couple examples. Chase had made a commitment, Chase Bank had made a commitment that in 5 years they're going to hire 100,000 vets, and it's very admirable. And they are doing it because, you know, I bank at Chase, and, you know, I check on that sort of thing, and they're really making an effort. The other organization that's really doing a lot is Home Depot. Home Depot has made a 5-year commitment to for veterans to fund $80 million towards housing. And so, you know, I give kudos to those guys, because they've also have been out to our facility and they have done some work as well. So those